Today is a great day to kind of review 2020, but under the light of this gospel, which is the first few lines of the Gospel of John. And I would encourage all of you before the end of the year, if it's possible, or definitely over these next few days, to take this Gospel of John. It's 18 verses. You just heard Deacon Tom read it, and just simply read it in front of the nativity scene. Look at the different characters there. Place your heart, mind, and soul, and do a contemplation of what's traditionally called the gospel of the incarnation. This is what's moving everything, not just the kings and the shepherds and the angels and Mary and Joseph, but it's truly what's behind that little baby boy. And to allow the darkness that sometimes we see in our past, or we see in our country, or in our society, or in our families, or in our friendships, or even those who are closest to us. Wherever we see that darkness, we need the shining light of the gospel. We need the shining light of this little baby boy who comes into the world. It's interesting, in the Spanish world, the word or the expression for a mother who gives birth is dar a luz. It's to give light. It's almost as if we're stuck in this 9-month womb, so to speak, and God wants to give us his light. You know, the darkness sometimes of COVID time, Corona time, can truly damper our hope, our expectation, our life, our relationships. And as we saw this Christmas, it dampers participation in receiving Jesus Christ, the light of the world, even on his birthday. The numbers across the country, across the world, and definitely in this parish and in our grouping were so low. So we realize that Corona time has actually brought such a darkness and a shadow into our world that it is urgent for us to get in front of the nativity set, to read this gospel, and allow the word of Christ to be that light in the darkness, and to slowly allow that light, well, quick as you can allow it, to shed light around you. Because the salvation and the change, you hear it all the time, right? Like 2021 is going to be better than 2020. Well, what are the guarantees for that? What's going to make that happen? Just because there might be vaccines, because we're going to have a change in political leadership, because, I don't know, you put a different digit at the end of the year, so it's no longer 2020, it's now 2021. Those are not ontological. Those are not the deep way in which darkness gets exchanged out of there for light. It's only going to be if Jesus Christ conquers our hearts more this year, and the hearts of those who are called to evangelize this year, that 2021 will be better than 2020. The exterior circumstances of the world, they're going to always be like this. If you Google the 10 worst years in human history, 2021 wouldn't even show up in the top 10. We're so close to it, we so feel it, that we feel like this is the worst year ever. But there are worse years. And the point isn't how bad things are. The point is how incredibly powerful Jesus Christ is if we allow him to illuminate us, rather than the circumstances around us hoping that they'll get better in order to illuminate us. And so it's the same thing that Joseph and Mary, Jesus and the Holy Family had. What was the reaction of the world of Jesus coming into the world? Killing innocent people. It's still the same thing repeated over and over again today. And so that's why this year of St. Joseph is such a good year for us to go to Joseph, to allow him to protect us, to be that faithful guardian, that terror of demons, that patron saint of a happy death. In other words, somebody who helps us get to home, to heaven. Because the goal in life is not to win a Super Bowl, although hopefully Big Ben can find his way. The goal in life is not to win a Stanley Cup. We'll see what a bunch of old geezer run around the ice hockey rink could do anything. Forget baseball. The goal in life is obviously to get to heaven. And it's in these circumstances that we're called to allow Jesus Christ to conquer us this year. That's how we get to 2021 with hope. That's why we can look to tomorrow and say, yes, this is going to be a better year. Not because of the exterior circumstances, which are so ingrained with deep structures of sin and the culture of death, but it's going to be the gospel. It's going to be Mass. It's going to be the Eucharist. It's going to be the saints. It's going to be our Blessed Mother Mary. It's going to be St. Joseph. It's going to be that team of people. It's going to be our divine family that's going to win the victory in us through God's grace.